Good afternoon, folks. It is Friday, and we're streaming. I don't think I've ever done a stream on a Friday before. I am glad to be proven wrong on that, but I don't think I've ever done a stream on a Friday before. Anyway, I hope you're having a really good day either way. I'm Quanta. Good afternoon, good sir. I hope you're doing well. Just BMTU's here as well. So is Monster Dude. Xavier Sunson as well. Good afternoon, good sir. Fruit Gummy off Fute. There's no R in the fruit. Moons, hey man, good to see you. I have a package that's ready to ship out to you. I apologise we've missed the shipment for it today, but it is ready to go, so it should ship out on Tuesday, because Monday's a bank holiday. Yes, it is bank holiday Monday, yeah. Zizora, hey, good to see you. Jehovah in bed as well. Good afternoon, good sir. A wild J appears. I feel a little bit dishevelled and a little bit wild today. I'm wearing like the largest hoodie known to man today. It's like, before I lost a load of weight, this hoodie was actually quite tight on me, and now I could easily fit two people in it. It's like it's massive, but it's very comfortable at the same time. And because it's a little bit colder, well, that's what we're wearing today. So if my sleeves get in the way, I apologise. I'll try and pull them up. Tuesday or Thursday the past, yeah, we've streamed on Tuesdays and Thursdays quite a few times. We for a period of about 3 months we did almost every Thursday, because I was doing that was back in the old workshop, and I was doing a lot of laser cutting streams and making stuff streams and things like that. So yeah. Is there anything blue and TKL shaped? No, it's the board I was repairing for you, dude. It's the board I was repairing for you, dude, with your battery as well. I actually bought one of the batteries myself, but it's got like a little kickstand on it as well. It's basically the same thing, but it's white and got a kickstand on it, and it has like in fact, I'll find it so people know what I'm talking about here. Let me see if I can show you guys. So Moons was very kind, and he met up with me for dinner before I went to the Formula One a couple of months ago. Let me see if I can find it. Let me see if I can find it. So yeah, he lent me one, and then I really liked it, so I bought myself one. So if I flick over on to here and flick on browser sharing, oh, there we go. It's this charge battery here. So it's got a little kickstand on it, and it just uses the MagSafe mount on the back of my iPhone. And it's also got like a little fan inside of it, and funnily enough, someone liked it that much when I was in London recently that they also bought themselves one. So my friend Blackbrook, who's one of the mods here on the channel, he wrong thing, trying to select the browser sharing because it's a little bit out of kilter. He liked it that much that he wait, what? He bought himself one as well. Why can I not move this? Why is it not letting me move this? Okay, I for some reason can't move. Yeah, it's only letting me move that. Hold on. Let me move this out. Grab this. Nope, that's the background. Great, I can't actually select it. How bizarre! It won't let me select the active window there. Anyway, the browser window won't let me move it. So yeah, so so I bought one of these because Moons was basically like, oh, these are really good, borrow this, you'll be fine at the Formula One. I bought this one because it's got the little kickstand, which I find really useful, and they're really good bits of kit. So I'm not affiliated with these at all. It's a Charge branded one, but they're really good bits of kit. So if you want to pick one up, feel free to do so, because they're really good bits of kit. Why will it not let me resize the window for the browser share? How bizarre. How bizarre. All I wanted to do is like move it across a little bit, like closer to my hand here, and it just won't let me do it. Anyway, is what it is. It's fine. It's fine. They're a cool little device though. Cool little device. I has my lanes, feel pretty good now. Want a long pole version. The lanes are really good. You unfortunately you can't swap a long pole stem into them because they need the little leaf for the click jacket. But they are really interesting. They're super fun switches. Is it cold where you live already? So I live in the UK, in West Yorkshire, which is kind of like, if you look at a map of the UK and you were going to draw a dot in the centre of the main island, that's pretty much where I live. You'd be pretty close, like within 20 or 30 miles if you did that. In fact, if you go on Google Maps and you search for Prototypist keyboards, you will absolutely be able to do that. Hold on, let me see if I can do that without showing too much information. I don't want it to come up and show like my home address or something. Where's it gone? There it is. Yes, if you just search Prototypist keyboards, it comes up as work for me because it is work, and this is where we are, right in the centre of the UK, right where the red dot is. So pretty much dead centre of the main island in the UK, and as you can see, that's where we are right there. So it's been quite warm. It's been 25 degrees Celsius, 22 degrees Celsius, 20 degrees Celsius for the past few months. And then yesterday and today it's dropped down to between 16 and 18 degrees Celsius. So whilst it's not particularly cold and it's still quite mild, it's felt cold. So I've needed a jumper today because we have the big shutter door open here at the workshop and everything else. So yeah, that's that. Actually cool, is it? Yeah, it's cool enough to need like another layer. So I've been just wearing this. So yeah. I'm always iffy on Charge because their names sound close to Sharp. That's fair. I get that. But I was blown away by the ones that Moons lent me. He got this really cool carbon fiber type one, and I used it at the Formula One. It was great. It was fantastic. And then I was like, okay, I need one of these, so I bought myself one, and I now need to send Moons his back. That's the thing. Will US orders ship today? Yoga, all orders that were made up until about an hour ago have already shipped. It's technically the end of the day here. It's gone 3:20 now, and the collections from DHL and UPS have already happened for today. Our next shipping date will be Tuesday. I would ship on Monday, but we can't because it's a public holiday here in the UK. But I did put a ping on Discord about the announcements that if you order over the weekend, we will prioritize US orders on Tuesday, so you will get them on Wednesday or Thursday prior to the de minimis change coming in. So we are going to make sure that we absolutely prioritize that. The DHL collection on Tuesday is going to be a little bit earlier to make sure that we get on the right flight, to make sure that all of the packages get to the US before the end of the month, before the 29th, when the de minimis rules change. So Tuesday is the 26th, and that gives us 3 days. So they all should be delivered on the 28th, and then it turns over on the 29th. So as long as you don't select something like redeliver or change my package or delivery address, you should be fine. So yeah, that's the plan. Sitting here sipping on my Cometia coffee. Nice, dude, nice. This is, I'm drinking coffee as well. This is from my own coffee shop, Jay's Roastery, and this is the Fiction Blend. And we actually did something really fun I was going to show you guys in a little bit today. I've started a new series on the coffee company Instagram and TikTok. I have a TikTok, which I still don't know how to use, but we have a TikTok now where we're actually playing Dungeons and Dragons for coffee, which I showed on stream the other day, which is really cool. So if you're interested in that, you can have a look at it. The CF one I lent you is QI2. That was the benefit. Yeah, I know there's like the QI2 ones. I like the other one was great with the kickstand. So yeah, but anyway, I do thank you, Moons. Yeah, it's really good. V-Rugdush, hey man, good to see you. Also, I've never seen the Ace of Spades lemo James made. Oh yeah, I was supposed to lend you that board, dude. I literally had the cable yesterday for it. The board is here. The board's here. I do have the cable for it now as well. I'll get it all put in the same box for you. We'll have to take it out of the box it's currently in to put it in another box to then ship it to you. I'll get it all put in the same box, and then you can check it out.
Tasty, tasty.
Bob Hotshot, thank you so much for the subscription. Happy Friday, everyone. Happy Friday to you as well. Getting the Pixel 10 Pro, might be tempted by that. Nice. It's really good. Like the charge thing is good. Like, I'm not affiliated with them. I don't get a kickback or anything. I do really like them. Why is the camera so high? I've been doing some other filming in here, so I feel like the camera's just raised up a little bit. There we go. There we go. You can actually see me properly now. Thanks for enabling the tofu TKL earlier. Don't forget to disable it again. Yes, thank you, Neo Ninja. Did you get your order in? If so, let us know what you ordered, because I'm interested to see. Blue Slushy says, will the Key Cult number 160s be shipping straight to you from China? Yes, they have not yet arrived at our Chinese warehouse. As soon as they arrive at a Chinese warehouse, we'll then have them shipped to the UK. I think they're expected to arrive at our Chinese warehouse next week, and then we can arrange shipping to the UK after that. So yeah. Very random request. Do you have any of the Protozoa Nightcall switches to hand? I want to order a bunch, but I just want to know how silent they actually are. I can get some. Give me 30 seconds, Blamaster. I will get some of the Nightcall switches. If I actually, whoa. Before I do, because usually what happens when I say I'm going to get something, people want to see it. Show me what you want. Or tell me what you want to see, and I will go get everyone's requests all at the same time. How about that? So I've got the Nightcall switches. If there's anything else anyone wants to see, I will go pick it up. TikTok is alien technology. I'm just a Luddite, okay? I'm 40. I'm old. I'm not down with the kids. I should probably hire someone young who is. So yeah. Gemma, hello, my dear. I hope you're doing well. Don't let Jay mislead you. Roll for Caffeine is cursed. Guys, you should have... So we actually did a load of test runs of Roll for Caffeine before we recorded the first one. And we record it live, and then the app kind of like chops and changes bits. So it's all one video long. It's like 5-minute video that then gets chopped and cut and all edited down to like a 2-minute video, a 3-minute video. Which is it's really cool, actually, the way it works. It's like it's called Captions and CapCut. The apps do the same thing. But we did like a load of runs that we didn't record, and we actually made the drinks and everything else to see how it was. And we did hit the Marmite Rim, which was not great. But we'll talk about that in a bit. You want to see my secret stash of Kalane foot pics? Yeah, no. I have no idea. That's why she was blue and TKL shaped. I'd forgotten all about it, dude. I clicked in my head. But yes, when you mentioned the I'm currently 100% of your TikTok followers. Nice. It takes a while to update. Does the TikTok back end? It's not as quick as Instagram when people follow it. Because we had about 50 views when I looked earlier on as well, and I think there's a couple of follows. So yeah, cutest UK vendor confirmed. Dude, thank you, Reggie. Wooden Keycap Genius spotted. He is. Got an order in, but it's going to be a custom Mictlan paint by Salopian. Nice. You can stay for about 30 minutes. Nice. Jinmain, thank you so much for the Prime sub. I thoroughly appreciate it. Storsness, good afternoon, good sir. Alice QK Duo. I don't have an Alice QK Duo in stock, I'm afraid, but I can definitely get the Nightcall switches. Latte art looking nice. Thanks, man. I try. Having my own like coffee roastery helps get the latte art down a little bit. Spicy Miso. Hi, Jay. Something that's also very cool is Jay from Prototypist. I've heard he's a bit of a dick, actually, but yeah. Right, okay, give me 30 seconds, guys. I'll let you have a look at my coffee for 30 seconds while I go grab the Nightcall switches. I'll be back in a moment. Okay. Oh. I have some Nightcall switches. Let me zoom in. Yeah, we have our own coffee roastery. Hold on, I will show you. We have Jay's Roastery. This is my other company. We make our own coffee. So yeah, so we've got another site not too far away from here where I'm at right now, where we roast the coffee with another company because I can't afford all the roasting machines myself. But yeah, we have 4 different blends: fiction, which is what I'm drinking right now, sci-fi, classics, and then the true crime blend as well, which is a decaffeinated coffee. It's called Jay's Roast Story because all of the different coffees are based on types of writing, so fiction, sci-fi, classics, true crime. We're going to do a mocha as well at some point, which will be the romance, that kind of thing. So yeah, this is the machine that we use here at the workshop. That's actually just downstairs where I made this coffee a few minutes ago, and the machine that you'll see on our TikTok. If you are interested, before I talk about the Nightcore switches, I'll just show you the TikTok that we made. So this is I imagine this is going to play really loud. I apologize if it does. If it does, I'll try and turn the volume down a little bit. But this is the TikTok where we play Roll for Caffeine.
Hey folks, and welcome to day 1 of Roll for Caffeine at Jay's Roastery.
Recorded this earlier on today. I'll turn the volume down a little bit.
Dice to decide what coffee we're going to make today.
So yeah, the little jumps are done automatically by the app. 3D printed the tower here at the workshop as well. And I even bought a little laminator machine too.
Cold coffee, and we get a 2. That is a hot coffee today. And roll number 3 is going to be a D6 to see what type of coffee we make.
Some of these can come out really, really cursed. There is a way where if you roll certain options, you can actually. In fact, let me turn this down a little bit more. You could roll a 6 double espressos in the same drink. So it's basically espresso, 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 espresso. So yeah, it was just something fun. But we're going to do this every working day. Every day I'm here at the workshop, I'm going to create one of these because it takes 5 minutes.
We're going to put 2, which is 1. Roll number 7. Let's see which flavor shot we're going to put in here. More flavors are coming.
Nice dice tower. Thanks, man. I stole the design off of Principles.
Classic caramel. Now for roll 8, we're going to see what a D6 gives us for a topper. Top with 4, which is chocolate sprinkles. And for our final roll, it's a D20 to decide what.
Look at some of these chaos rolls though. Peppermint shot, lime shot, Tabasco hot sauce, Marmite rim, chug it, sea salt, marshmallows. This is where it can get really, really bad. It can make a really good coffee absolutely terrible. Use a straw, black pepper, no mugs, watermelon shot, ice cream. That's a good one. Matcha shot, cinnamon brew, and pickles. Like there's all sorts of things here that can make the coffee just go really, really bad.
We have rolled a 12, and the 12 is marshmallows. Something nice. Luckily it wasn't the Marmite, Tabasco, pickles, or some of the maybe we'll get those too. This is the classic caramel.
Oh, there I am.
Let's make some coffee with a hot espresso. So we will grind some of our fiction blend beans. Let's grind this for an espresso.
I do like how the app's able to cut out all of the middle bits that you just don't need to see. Like you don't need to hear the coffee grinder grinding the beans, right? And it managed to cut all of that out automatically, like 3 clicks. It's crazy. Oh, they hit the Vestaboard going now. I forgot that was in it. You commit to drinking whatever you roll it, right? Yeah, absolutely. That's the whole point. Like whatever we roll, we have to drink.
And some marshmallows. Oh no, ruined that. Okay, we'll sprinkle on some chocolate. That's probably way too much. And a few marshmallows. Lovely. This is going to be way too sweet for me. I do not like a sweet coffee.
Yeah, I don't like sweet things.
More acidic coffee. Give that a stir. Okay, that's really sweet. It's actually quite nice that the classic caramel works quite well with the chocolate on top. The marshmallows change the texture a bit.
So what had happened here, I realized afterwards, is the marshmallows had kind of like melted into the flat white foam and just made a congealed mess at the top of the cup, which then in a second gets stuck in my beard because it's. I'd also had like 4 coffees at this point, so I wasn't going to drink the whole thing. But I do. Well, I drank about half of it in the end.
But let's give that a 7 out of 10. That's good.
Yeah, could be worse.
Let's see if we get something better tomorrow.
So yeah, so that's what we're going to do pretty much every work day. We're going to try and do a roll for caffeine every time I'm here at the workshop making coffee. We'll do that, and we'll see how it goes. So we're getting keyboard stuffs now. Coffee from Prototypist. Are we getting fountain pen and inks from Unix? So the coffee is so the coffee company's actually been running about a year, and originally it was two separate companies. It was Jay's Roastery and Prototypist Keyboards, and then just to keep it easy from a financial side and accounting side, as of a couple of weeks ago, Jay's Roastery is now technically just a trading name of Prototypist Keyboards, and Prototypist Keyboards is the overarching limited corporation that owns both businesses, just to make it easier than anything else from a financial perspective. So yeah, so we do that. Fountain pens are interesting that you talked about that, because I do have some designs from about 18 months ago for some EDC stuff. So one of the other things I'm kind of looking into is doing a separate spin-off brand that is about EDC, including pens. Fountain pens is absolutely one. We've been looking at using some Bock nibs. Bock is a company who makes fountain pen nibs, and come up with a design very similar to the pen that I made myself a few years ago, which came out really, really nicely. This is solid brass, so I use this every day, and I want to kind of change the design a little bit and make something very similar to this, with some Bock nibs, and release it and see how it does. But it's pretty chunky as that pen. It's solid brass and it's quite weighty. I also want to make some things like coffee tamps and out of like copper and things like that as well, with like little logos on the bottom, so when you tamp your coffee down you get the logo and things. There's a few different things that I want to have a look at. I keep meaning to buy a raw board, have spare gasket and PCBs. Don't say it's in the sale. Spent too much already this month. The JO2s are probably in the sale. I don't know if it is or not, but it may well be, because like we only have the raw cases left, so we're just trying to get them rid, because the JO2 will never run again. It's kind of like a done thing now. So yeah, so there'll be more things coming outside of keyboards. Spicy Miso is what that was a long way to say yes. There's more things coming, not just necessarily pens, and certainly not inks. I don't have enough knowledge to create inks, but there is other things that I want to create and do with, you know, the skills I have from running this company. So yeah. Keyboard Dad, hey man, good to see you. Thank you so much for being here. The violent diarrhea roll is 6 times espresso shot. Yeah, like you can end up with like a double espresso 3 times, so 6 shots of espresso in a single cup. Yeah. Marmite Rim is diabolical. It really is. It came up on one of the test rolls. I might have a little video of that. I don't know if I kept it or not, because we've done like quite a few different rolls to just test it out. I think I didn't keep it. Yeah, I don't think I have it, unfortunately. But yeah, we did like a few test rolls and recording, but not recording the whole thing, not recording the kind of spiel and the patter in the background, just recording the process, just to get a feel for it. So yeah, it's interesting. Watched it a couple minutes ago. I thought for a second it was going to be a regular flat white, and then flavors happened. Yeah, I might change up the order and do like flavor shots. Like, it doesn't really matter which order we do it in, because we'd still make the coffee with the same output. But I might change up the order of which we do the cards in each day. It might be a different order each day. So sometimes you'll see chaos at the beginning, sometimes you'll see chaos at the end, sometimes you'll see the shot choices, and then you'll find out if it's going to be a hot or a cold coffee, or it'll just be different every day. Affogato, my beloved. I think you need to clarify that the pickle roll is hot sauce. It's not really hot sauce. It is, it's a sauerkraut and pickle sauce type thing. But sauces work better in, like, rather than a spoonful of pickles in there. It works better as a sauce because you can mix it in. So yeah. Milk of kindness. Yeah. Is it going to be the new kombucha gummy? Maybe. Cotton Bureau-esque defo. How about some EDC gamer bathwater? I don't play games very much, and I don't want to do bathwater. No, that's a big no. Is that Nixie clock behind you authentic? Yeah, I've also got a Nixie clock keyboard. I have a keyboard that we designed here which has a Nixie clock in it. If you want to see that, let me know and I'll go grab it. All this talk of coffee, I think I'm going to go make one. I have a very delicious latte right now with oat milk, so yeah. But yeah, the Nixie clock is authentic. Right, so we're going to have a look at the Nightcall switches. Let's zoom in so you guys can see. So these are part of our Proterozoa stock. The stems are technically glow in the dark, but there's not really much glow. You can kind of see a little bit there, maybe. The stems do glow in the dark a little bit, but not really that much. But in terms of the silence, this is right up next to the microphone. They're pretty silent. Yeah, they're pretty silent. They're actually not bad feeling switches. I haven't really played with these because I don't typically like silent switches, but they're also silenced on the upstroke. They're silenced on the up and the downstroke. If you look on the side here, if the camera will focus, you can see at the top of the stem, there's like, and the bottom of the stem, there's the two little black rubber parts, which are the silencing pads. You can see it's right at the top here. It's just at the top of the switch, just here. So it silences the upstroke as well, which is really, really useful. Silences the downstroke too. I know that's not uncommon for switches these days, but early silence only silence the downstroke, not the upstroke. These feel really, really solid. Let me put a keycap on one. This is a GMK Row 1 keycap. Up to the mic again. So yeah, pretty silent, pretty good. You want to see the board with the Nixie clock in it? Sure, I can. Give me a second. I'll go grab that. Let me zoom the camera back out and leave you with a view of my half-drunk coffee, and I'll be back with the Nixie board in a second. I'll take these down as well. I can't remember who wanted to see the silent switches. Who was it who wanted to see the silent switches? I can't remember who wanted to see it. Was it Blamaster? Yes, Blamaster. There you go. So silent switches, you can re-roll back 5 minutes if you want to see those. I'll go grab the Nixie board as well because it's downstairs. Okay, so this is Project Nixie. Oh, I missed one of the switches, look. This is Project Nixie. This is a almost TKL with brass sides, raw patinated brass sides, a brass cover around the Nixie tubes. You can see the tubes there. On both sides. This actually uses a French cleat system to hold together. Controls for the clocker at the back. It's top mounted. Chamfers on all of the edges. There you go. You can see it does say Project Nixie here in an age appropriate font. There you go. Just lost a couple of feet in transit, but I need to sort those out. Let me plug it in and show you. These are real Nixie tubes. It'll take a minute to warm up. There we go. Might take a minute for them all to turn on. They do need some warming up sometimes. But yeah, you go. This is the first time it's been turned on in a little while. Let's see if we can. There you go. So it's going to be 12 o'clock until I set the clock later on. But yeah, it's kind of like got a little raised section here that you can see if I tilt back, accommodate the clock. The clock will update to 12:01 when it's time, I think. In fact, have we actually set it going? There we go. So it's just showing the seconds now. There you go. Now it's on 13:01, and then it'll just carry on keeping the time. So yeah, it's a pretty cool board. The keycaps are also custom made for this. These are made by a company called Keymax, and they are probably some of the thickest keycaps you've ever seen. This is a one-of-one set. It's the only set that exists in UK ISO with an MX stem. All of the other keycaps Keymax makes are for ALP switches. So that's a 1.5U control key. Look how thick that is. These are homemade double shot keycaps. So the board fully works, everything works, you can use it. It's a pretty cool board. So yeah. So yeah, it's one of my favorite boards. I tend to keep this downstairs though, because we do keyboards and coffee on a Thursday, and everyone who comes wants to see this. It even has stepped ISO enter. Look how cool that is. Stepped ISO enter. Look, it's now 13:02. Stepped ISO enter. It's just really cool. Super, super cool. Super crisp legends. It's just a really, really nice thing. It's just a really, really nice thing. So yeah, right. Let's catch back up with chat. I'm going to move that to one side and unplug it because we'll figure out what's going on with it later and get the clock sorted out next time I'm going to use it properly. There we go. Oh, the build stream saying I'm going to build a keyboard today. I'm not building a keyboard today. There's some keycaps in the QK Alice Duo products image that I love, but I cannot find them for love nor money. Anyone in chat got any ideas? Drop a link and I'll take a look at them. Had 6 blood clot ads, so I'm going to roll it back. Nice. They're on spray black keycaps with multicolored lettering. Interesting. They could be cap. Yeah, Moon says. I don't know. Like if you drop like a link to it, I'll have a look. Looks like Miclan. Okay, maybe it is Miclan. I'll never afford a custom Keymax set though. Yeah, I think it was like 1,800 euros for the keycaps. They're very expensive, but they're very, very good. Those keycaps are quite interesting. Do you think they're worth the price, having used them for a while? It's a tough question. Like they're a one-off set. You know, whenever you, I think that the price of something, you have to take into consideration how it was made and the quantity available. So if I tell you that a guy is going to sit in his workshop, hand make something that is really difficult to make, that uses processes that even big companies can't reproduce in his garage, and it's going to take him 30 days beginning to end of 8 hours a day to create it without knowing what the product is, do you think 1,800 euros is reasonable? And when you consider that, the cost for the parts is negligible, the resin, the plastic is cheap, but the cost for someone's time is what is the expensive part. And all of the caps are handmade, they're hand injected, they're double shot, they're sanded and smoothed and polished manually. I think, yes, it was worth it. Would I do it again? No, I have a set. I don't need 2. I think it's way overkill to have another set, but I'm very, very happy with the ones I've got. So I think you have to bear in mind it's kind of like that. So yeah. Managed to watch the Santa's back. Thanks for doing that. Gonna drop off stream, but we'll take an order in at some point. No worries, dude. What set is on the board on your desk? This board here, this is Pepper Bait. This is DCS Pepper Bait. Ugh. There you go. I have some more of the keycaps here for reference as well. So it's kind of like all pinks and yellows and purples and DCS for the win. Camera, please focus. There you go. Yeah, it's DCS Pepper Bait. So whoever asked about the Nixon clocks earlier on, I have a bit of a thing for them. I'm a huge fan of Nixon clocks. That one's real, and the one on there's real. I have one at home. I also have the flip clock here, and then in the workshop, I also have the Vesta board, which is easier to show you on here. So if I do this machine up here in the top corner here, this is a Vesta board. Each of these is a little ticker, and it rolls over whenever we get an order or something like that. And it's really, really cool. I don't have a video of it working, but you might hear it if someone puts an order through on the web store, because it's just the other side of this wall here. But yeah, if you go on the Vestaboard website, actually, you can see how these work. So you can see in the video in the top right how it flicks over and changes and shows something. But yeah, so it just, like here, it flicks over automatically and updates the show messages. So we have it do a few things. It gives us an inspirational quote of the day every morning. It tells us the weather every morning as well. It also tells Mel when I'm approaching or leaving, because it's got like my phone has an if this then that rule with a geofence on it to tag, so Mel knows when I'm coming and when I'm not. And it also pings every time we get an order on the Prototypist web shop. So if you order through the Prototypist, it will flick over and sure, I think we were one of the first 5 to get one in the UK, I think. But I'd wanted one for a while since I saw it. So we just have the standard one, and we've had it. It was a lot cheaper when we first got it off. I think it had just finished the Kickstarter, and then we ordered ours straight away. But I think it was only $2,800 at the time. And we've had it about 5 years now. I think we got it in fact, actually, no, I know when we got it. We got it the week before Mel started, actually. So it would have been late April 2021. So yeah, that's when we got it. Because I put it up on the wall on Mel's first day. So yeah, but the Vesta boards are cool. Big ticker tape. They sound fantastic when you set them going. I'm surprised that you don't have like more of a video of this, to be honest. Can we watch the video somehow? Is it going to make it larger? No. No videos? No. Okay. Anyway, it's fantastic when it ticks over. Here we go. Is it going to be a section where it ticks over? You can see it in the background ticking over, look. It's pretty cool though. So yeah. And you can do a lot of cool automations with it. But it's fantastic. It's a great bit of kit, and I absolutely adore it. So, yeah, it's cool. Love the pastel colours. Yeah, me too. Me too. There is going to be a GMK set that's very similar to this called Divina Papaya. I don't think that's too far away. I've always wanted to get one, but they're quite pricey. The Vesta boards, yeah. I mean, we got ours. So it was a personal purchase, not a business purchase, as I say, in 2021. But I think I'd paid for it at the back end of 2019, I think, and it just took like a year and a bit to arrive. But yeah, really, really cool. Oh, you've dropped the link, Matt. Let me have a look. I will tell you what keycaps they are. The silver colorway. Okay, let me get down to the. So yeah, hold on. Let me share my screen again. This one. Oh, this one. This is Mictlan. Yeah, this is Mictlan. Sadly, we don't have any stock of that set available anymore. You might find it on the aftermarket though. Does it support real-time input? Yeah, so how it works is there is a mobile phone app, and what you can do is you can type into it. Let me just make sure I'm not sharing anything untoward here. Okay, so I will show you my phone screen. You can see. Boop. Right. Okay, so this is the app. This was the inspirational quote we got today. You can type your own, but if I just click send on that, you might be able to hear it, you might not. There'll be the noise through the wall when that goes live in like a second or so. I don't know if you can hear that, but it's going around now. Yeah, you might have seen it on Instagram at some point. So, oh, actually, I can show you. You can type manually into that as well, so you can like send something in the app yourself if you wanted to, and there's some other things that you can do. Oh yeah, the music. I forgot the music was live. Let me pause the music, and if I show you again on this was our.
Hey folks, and welcome to day 1 of.
Let me see if I can find it.
This
is on our TikTok for the roastery.
Dairy, just go. Pickles or some of the difficult ones. Maybe we'll get.
You might see the vestibule ticking over here.
This is the classic caramel going in the cup.
Pretty sure whilst I was steaming milk.
Some coffee with a hot espresso. So we will grind some of our fiction blend beans.
See, this is the vestibule up here. So my office, I'm sat just up here, just above this rail here. That's where I'm sat right now.
Pull the lever down, let it pre-infuse for about 5 to 7 seconds.
Yeah, pre-infusing coffee. Sorry about. There you go. Did you hear it for the second there?
Pull the lever down, let it pre-infuse.
If you watch.
For about 5 to 7 seconds, and then pull the shot. Whilst
That's what it does. That's what it does. It's noticeable when it's going live. It's like noticeable, like wherever you are in the workshop, you can generally hear it go. Kid Me was always flabbergasted at these. Yeah. Resident Yepper, hey man, good to see you. Just tuned in. What's been going on so far? Just been talking about some stuff. It did the thing. It did do the thing. It's a cool bit of kit. I love it to death. And in the very near future, it's likely that we will have to move out of this workshop because the rent is just astronomical, and I just genuinely can't afford to pay it anymore. So one of the things that me and Warwick are looking at is moving home, and we're hoping that when we move home, we'll have like a barn or somewhere for PT as an entity to live inside the grounds or something like that, like a big barn or a big garage or something. And I have said to my wife, can we put the Vestaboard on the wall in the kitchen? I have been vetoed on that and told that we can't do that. So yeah, I've been told that the Vestaboard is not allowed to go on the kitchen wall, which is really frustrating and really sad, but it's one of those things. Mictlan has to be the prettiest set ever made. It's up there. It is really it's one of the few sets that I don't own, and I have a lot of key sets. There's a few really, really pretty sets, I think, and Mictlan is definitely one of them. I think it's up there. Yeah, it's absolutely up there. But yeah, Prin Skipper, in terms of like the real-time input, like if I type something in the app, I'll show you this again. Where's it gone? Where's it gone? Get rid of that for a second. So you can just hit the the type icon here, and then you can type anything that you want to show up, and you can drop colored tiles in it and stuff as well. And yeah, and then it shows you how it's going to lay it out, and then you click on send, and that will now be on the Vestaboard. So yeah, it's dead simple, and it takes maybe 10 seconds. It's like if you place an order on the website now, it's about 10 seconds from the order confirmation coming up on your screen to the Vestaboard ticking over. So like the reason we do it on the Vestaboard is because if we know that we're out in the workshop and we're moving stuff around, and then the board ticks over, it tells us it's got like a few different phrases that it can say, but it usually has the customer's first name. And then it says like it picks up one of the random texts, which I think one of them is like Sam the Legend has just bought such and such a product, so we can see what we need to go and pick if it's an in-stock order, rather than it does it for group buys and pre-orders as well. But if it's an in-stock order, we can see whatever we're doing. We can see that we need to go and pick something up and get an order packed and shipped out off the shelf, which is just really cool. It's just really fun. And it's something that we've had going for a while. I think it annoys Mel at times. I think she's like, oh no, the bloody thing's going off again. But I adore it. I think it's great. And whenever it does actuate, like I just always find myself going to have a look, even if it's something I know isn't an order, or even if I've already seen the order, I go to have a listen and a watch because it's just fun. So yeah. Okay, so PT news. What do I need to tell you about PT stuff? Probably best to go back onto the browser sharing for this because there's a few things. One, we have a 30% off sale on right now. This is until midnight on Monday, the 25th of August. So you've got some time. It's everything that shows on this link. There is a lot of stuff included. And basically, the idea is we need to clear some shelf space. So everything that's on the link, it's available on the homepage. It's the first thing at the top of the screen on the homepage. You get 30% off everything behind that link there. And that ends on Monday. So if you order over the weekend, it'll ship first thing on Tuesday. We'll prioritize US orders to try and get them delivered before the de minimis rules change. And we just want to like create as much space in the workshop as possible. If we do end up moving the workshop, like I said before, we want as much gone as possible. And also we kind of want to reduce what we have as well, because we've got a massive shipment coming in about 4 weeks time that's currently at sea from China, and we have nowhere to put everything. So we need to create some space. So please do us a favor and go buy something, get a good deal. And I think someone managed to get EPBT Duo, which is with the Arabic Legends, the base kit for like 10 quid earlier on, because it's already discounted and they got another 30% off. So definitely take a look at that, because there's a ton of stuff in there. In fact, I think you can get it really cheap. Duo EPBT. Yeah, you can get 72% off of it. So the base is already only 20 quid, but when you add it to cart, you get another discount off it already. Look, $14.59, because you get the summer sale discount as well. So for £15, you can get the whole base kit of EPBT Duo. You can get extended 2048 with 30% off as well, so it's only 90 quid. So that's just what I happened to have in my cart at the time. But yeah, it's there's some really good deals to be had at the minute, so definitely take a look at that. I also changed the website around a little bit, so I'll be interested in your feedback. We changed up how the in-stock inventory section looks here with different colored tiles, and we also had pre-orders, live pre-orders, QK Neo and Jay's Roastery added to the second row before we went into the traditional kind of like, you know, here's all of the stuff that's hot right now, here's the latest stock drops, here's some information about me, and here's some of the things that I've picked up from the store recently. Anything that I buy on my account automatically shows up in this list as well, so you can see some pretty cool stuff that way. So yeah, there you go. Cool. Anything white on black set for sale? If there's a good white on black set, I'm ordering now. Dude, we have a really, really good white on black set, because we have... where is it? We have the PT set. These are 45 quid. Oh, I'm behind a VPN at the minute, so it won't show VAT. Let me turn the VPN off. Hold on, let me turn the VPN off and refresh that. There you go. So it's $49.99. UK ISO in base. Huge base kit. 2 ISO enters. UK ISO keys. Macro keys, because no one does macro keys properly. And they're pretty good quality as well. There's like some close-up pictures. This is outside in the sun, but they're pretty good quality as well. For the price, they're absolutely banging. Yeah, so yeah, have a look at those if you're interested in black and white. There's also DCS. There is also, I think we've got DCS Intro in stock right now, and of course there'll be some GMK options that are close to white and black too. DCS white and black is a great price anyway. Yeah. Considering that at Cap white on black. Cap white on black is on its way to us right now. It shouldn't be too long until it's here. So yeah. PBT set, you need the MW by PT ones. Yeah, I wouldn't sell them if I didn't think they were good. Like we tried really hard to make really good ones with them, so we have a lot of them in stock. But also the Manta tool wasn't necessary, right? Just go buy on the site. Yeah, they're not necessary, but they're really useful. Like if you, it doesn't matter what, like if you want an alternative to a plate fork, they're actually really good. So like, I'm literally using the image there. This is literally what I've been using, because I've been testing this PCB and plate, and I have the bowl tool here. Look, so it just clips in, you squeeze it together, push it into the switch socket, and then you can pull the plate up around the switch as you push the switches down. It's really, really useful. I probably prefer it to a normal plate fork for most builds. So yeah, I'd definitely take a look at that if you can. Why is there 2 enters? Is there dual weld builds? No, we just put 2 in there because I made a mistake, and I asked for, I was like, where's this key? And they were like, oh, it's here. I was like, great. And then I sent them the UK ISO keys that I wanted to include as well. And then we ended up with 2 ISO enters in there, but it's fine. Yeah. Is there a difference with DCS Intro other than minimal kitting? No, it's just the main one. The Protozoa one will be a lot larger. It's a lot older as well. So yeah, you might have to get one then. Don't have access to a printer. That's why we sell them. They're a $5. They're cheap. You can just pick one up from the website and we'll ship it to you. It's pretty good that way. It's pretty good that way. I just realized I have a really important email that I need to look at as well. I don't want to look at it though because it's my VAT bill. Oh my god, it's huge. It's way bigger than I was expecting. Oh. Oh no. How much did I... Rip J. That's a big, big VAT bill. It starts with a 1. And it's not like 10. It's got another 0. It's like that's way bigger than I was expecting. Oh no. Oh no. It starts with a 1. And the second number is 8, but it's not 18. It starts with a 1 and the second number is 8. Wow. It's not quite as big as that, Tangus. But it's 185k. Wow. 50% more ISO enters than competing brands. Well, hey, you gotta do what you gotta do, right? You gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah. I hate VAT bills. I hate them. Like, it's fine because, like, it's fine. Like, it's just one of those things. VAT, sales tax, it's one of those things. It's a fact of life. There's a few things that are certain in life, and taxes are one of them. Death is something else that's certain. You know, it's no, because it's based on the reason why it's so big right now is because well, for 2 reasons. One of the big confounding things about VAT in the UK is if you sell a pre-order product to a UK customer, they are charged VAT, and you pay VAT as soon as that order hits the 3-month-old mark. If it's for overseas customers, they don't pay VAT, but you still have to pay VAT for them when it hits that 3-month mark until you can claim the VAT back. Because we had a couple of really, really popular group buys 3 or 4 months ago, and the VAT return is now due. So it's technically every 3 months, but it's actually almost 6 months out by the time you get the bill for it, because you do a 3-month period and you have 3 months to do the assessment, and then you have like a week to pay it. So we're doing like VAT returns on like January time right now. So because of that, and because there's a load of orders that were in the previous one have gone over VAT quarters and then become VAT taxable, even though they shouldn't be taxable, and we will claim the VAT back at some point, we have to pay it in advance to then claim it back later on. So because we had a massive amount of orders sort of that time, I think what this is around the I think it's technically for the rubber hose Janes and the rubber hose Kahakus that's causing this, because we had a lot of orders overseas for those as well as UK ones. So I think we're just having to now pay the VAT for those, and at some point in the future when we've shipped and dispatched those orders out, the following VAT return after those we'll be able to reclaim the VAT. It's really complex, that's my understanding of it, and I let my accountant handle it, but it's not necessarily based on recent sales, it's based on historic sales, and then it's compounded by the fact that there's a delay and you don't have to pay that extra VAT for overseas orders until after 3 months of it being outstanding, and then you can claim it back when the order does ship. Like, it's really complex, but you still have to pay the cash out. So yeah. You typically see the money going anywhere meaningful, but then again, it's the UK. Yeah, there's ifs and buts to when it's paid versus collected. Yeah, so yeah, it depends on who paid and if they paid VAT at checkout or not, and what type of order it was. So if it's something that we ship immediately, we have to pay the VAT straight away, which or in the next time that month is bundled up. Like whenever we make the submission for that month or that period of months, because it's a 3-monthly thing, we pay it quarterly. It would then be, so if you order in January, February or March, for example, it might get paid in April, May or June. I think it's actually the one after that, but that's kind of how it works. So it's delayed until you do your next submission. If it's I think it's actually delayed but one, just because the timescales cut offs for it. If it's an overseas customer that you don't charge VAT, so US, wherever else, EU technically counts as this because IOSS is different, then we will not charge the customer VAT. But once the order has been outstanding for 90 days, the next time we do it, it then falls into the pot of that secondary 3 months. So 90 days later, it falls into that pot, whatever pot that is. When we do the VAT calculation for that, which could be 6 or 9 months later in reality, we then have to pay VAT for that until it then ships. Then we have to keep track of those, keep track of the amount. And this is 20%. So if for every £100 someone spends, it's £20 that has to go to VAT. So if you sell like 100 boards at 500 a piece, you have a lot of VAT to pay. And then when we finally ship the item, so let's say we ship the item in September, in the next VAT return, which might be October, November, December, January, then we might be able to claim it back then. Or it might be the one after that when we claim it back. But yeah, it's a whole thing. VAT is so messy, because the other thing as well is we pay VAT on the goods and services that we as a business consume. So when we pay for shipping, for example, we pay VAT to, UPS and DHL and Royal Mail, and then we can claim that back against. Well, you can't claim it back. You offset that against your VAT bill, because it's like, well, we've charged this much VAT, but we've spent this much VAT. Therefore, the difference between the two figures is what we should be paying, and it's all complex. There's different dates for different things, different timescales. The accountant handles it all. They go into our books, they come up with all the information, and they say, here you go. This is what you have to pay this time. And this time it's a 1 and an 8 and a 5 and a K. It's annoying. I hope that makes sense. Or at least I hope it. I hope I'm setting the record unclearly. It reminds me of a Douglas Adams quote. Actually, he says he said something in one of the revisions of Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, that he was setting the record straight, or at the very least setting it wonky but de facto, even if it was not true, right, or something like that. I can't remember exactly. Let me see if I can find the quote. What was the quote? I can't actually find the quote. Let me see if I can find it. It's a really good quote as well. He had some really good things that he said. I may not have gone where I intended to, but I think I've ended up where I needed to be. That's a great quote. I can't find it. There is a really, really good quote from him about setting the record straight, or at least permanently askew. Something like that. You live and learn. Well, at any rate, you live. Yeah, I like that. Oh dear, I do love Douglas Adams. Okay, I can't find the quote, but there is one. Which group buy is killing you? I suspect that this comes from the Rubber Hose and the Rubber Jane, because that kind of fits with the timeline, because they would have been 90 days before they would have qualified. They would have missed the next tax reporting period and fall into the next one, which would be up to the end of last month, that we are now up to the end of July, that we're now paying for in August. Yeah, so I suspect it's that. But I'd have to go into they do send me like a full-on spreadsheet that breaks this down, which I am required by law to go through and make sure that I approve it. Yeah, but I have to pay it by the 7th of September apparently. So yeah, I'll get it sorted on the 6th of September. It's better in our account up until the day it's due. They've sent me a breakdown actually. Let me see if I can understand this breakdown. Okay, yeah. Okay, so here is something cool. So it would have been 202 but it's 185 because we're actually reclaiming some previous historical group buys in this one that we shipped to customers overseas. So there's another couple of big group buys that we shipped out recently, and that has dropped it from 202 to 185, which is pretty cool. So that's like 17 of revenue, 17 of VAT. Yeah. Oh, interestingly, we have to. Interestingly, the IOSS stuff is dealt out here. It doesn't actually affect the amount of tax that we pay because we've already paid that, and it doesn't technically class as VAT, but we have to show it on here as well, which is quite interesting. Interesting. Yeah, okay. Anyway, it is what it is. So that VAT bill is due to people abroad ordering a group buy. Yeah. So yeah. I think the vast majority, I mean, there is UK sales in there as well, but the reason why it's so high is because there was a lot of overseas orders for it. It might even include boards like the Lava as well, which we did as for Loop Switches who went out of business around the same time. We like rescued that group buy, so it might technically include those, and it might include the Nerve group buy as well. But it does get massively complicated because overseas customers shouldn't pay VAT. We only have to pay the VAT on it if it takes us more than 90 days to ship the order out, and then we reclaim it after we've shipped the order out. So we have to like pay it in the interim. It's like an interim tax just to make sure that I don't know why it exists, but it does. Taxes are a subscription to the nation, and childhood is the free trial. I could not agree more. I could not agree more. Show me the silver JL1 and JL3 prototype. Yeah, I'll go grab the JL1 silver prototype in a little bit for you, dude. Yeah, remind me in a little bit. All these vats and pots. What's wrong with a good cup or a bowl? I love a good cup of coffee. I like bowl too. He's nice. This is getting complicated. Offsetting is one of the least complicated bits. It's like, yeah, to be fair, well, no. So offsetting VAT also becomes really complex. And again, I don't really understand it. I just know what I've been told, and this is my interpretation of it. So don't take this as tax advice. But when, let's say PT buys a piece of machinery, let's say we buy a new 3D printer, right? Because we need them for the business. You will pay VAT on that. Let's say you spend £1,000 on the printer and £200 in VAT. You can claim that £200 VAT back by offsetting it against your tax bill. Fine. You don't actually claim the money back, you just offset it because we've spent VAT, and VAT is a value added tax, which means it's charged on the uplift of each step. Each time a change or a service or a process is added, there is an additional cost, and that's where the VAT comes from. So you're claiming back the previous stuff that's already technically being paid on by doing it this way. But because a machine to produce something would be a capital expenditure rather than a revenue expenditure, you can then claim depreciation on it, which also affects your tax in future years. And then my understanding gets hazy and fuzzy. So, yeah. One of my overall favorite quotes is, "You live and learn at any rate you just live." Yeah. I read that one out a few minutes ago. I think it's such a good quote. Like, Douglas Adams was one of those people who can change the whole way you look at something. Like he has a really, really good one about I can't remember the exact quote, but it's something about, "I don't like it when I feel drunk." And the other character goes, what's so bad about being drunk? And he goes, "Well, you ask a glass of water." And it's like changing the meaning of the word being drunk, as in I've had too much alcohol, to being drunk, as in I'm being swallowed like a glass of water. And it's just really clever. It's really clever. Same here. You can claim it back at the end of the year. Kind of. I don't like the word claim back because I think, like, if I didn't sell any product, I couldn't claim the VAT I spent back. It's only because I've spent and sold that I can offset the VAT. That's pretty much accurate. Important, VAT is however much value the last production step added. So if you buy for 10 and you sell for 11, you effectively only tax the 1. Yeah, so that's what I mean by the value. But no, I mean it is, but it's not. So I think it's a little bit more complex than that, right, Ruby? Because in my understanding, and bear in mind I get my accountant to handle all of this, I will sell a keyboard for £100 plus £20 VAT. I technically owe that £20 VAT to the government. but I paid £50 for the keyboard plus £10 VAT when I imported it. So I've already paid £10 to the government. So then I owe the government £20 from this new sale. But then I say, oh well, here's your £20, but I already gave you £10, so let's just offset that, and I give you the difference, right? That's how it works in practice, which I think is what you're saying. So I'm only charging the VAT for the last uplift because I've already paid the VAT for the production historically. I'm charging it for the sales process at that end, right? Not that those are real numbers for any product we sell, but like made up numbers. So I'm effectively only paying VAT as a VAT bill on the sale minus whatever I paid when I imported it. Which makes it even more complex when we're selling a product on a pre-order or a group buy that I haven't taken delivery of yet because it's still being produced and I still have to pay the import bill when it arrives here. Like, so I'm charging a customer VAT on a product that hasn't been made yet and I haven't paid the import on. So what I'll technically be doing is, because I don't have a product to offset that against, I'll be saying, well, here's your 20%, Mr. Government, the whole 20%. And then when I get the product in, I'll go, okay, well, I've just paid the VAT on that. And then on my next VAT, oh, actually, this might mean that at one point, maybe I'll get VAT back. Because if my purchases on imports, the VAT on those is greater than the VAT I owe at that time from sales, I would technically get a refund. This is really complex for a Friday afternoon, and I feel like I just need a beer and to forget about VAT. But hopefully that's useful. I'm VAT VAT confused instead of very confused. I'm VAT confused. Yeah, unfulfilled exports. I just found a line in the spreadsheet here. Unfulfilled exports is absolutely the big cost here. Yeah. At least in the EU, you can get a VAT refund in that way, yes. I don't think I've ever been in a position for that, but I think I could get that here. Not to be accused of VAT curious. Absolutely. Absolutely. I think you can get that here. We did get a return on it because last year was a really weird year from our financial perspective because of a couple of things. Mainly because we had so many other vendors disappear and go bankrupt that we had losses to over the past 4 years, such as Mexico, Brahma, and all of the other people. We allowed those losses to sit on our records last financial year. So it looks like, because we actually finally wrote those off last year, it looks like we made a massive loss on paper last year, which meant that technically we could reclaim a small amount of the tax paid in the previous year, like the actual corporation tax. I don't remember the amounts. I don't think they've actually paid us it yet either, but I think it's something like 20 grand or something. But yeah, it's quite interesting. But that's because we made a lot. But realistically, the loss was made over 4 years, and it was 200 grand a year, whatever losses on average, based on vendors failing and not delivering product and everything else. We're going to have some more this year because of Monarchy and a few other companies going bankrupt and things like that. So there was all these losses, but because we were just holding out hope that eventually we would get the products, we were never writing them off the books. So in previous years, it looked like we made significantly more profit than we had because we technically had these big losses looming over us that we hadn't accounted for. So last year, when we actually finally said, actually, let's cut the rope and cut all of these down as losses, it looks like we made a massive loss last year over and above what actually we made in profit. So again, really confusing, but my accountant knows what he's doing and he's very, very good. And he does explain it really well. And in the moment when he sits me down, because he usually comes here every year to like talk me through the annual results and stuff, he sits me down. He's like, it makes sense. It makes sense. I understand it. And then he goes away and it drifts out of the back of my brain. And I look at it again 6 months later and go, yes, that's right. Yes. And I don't really know, but yeah. As my grandfather once told me, taxes were invented by accountants for accountants to have a business. So I think I was once told by an economist that what we do as accounting today is technically called double book accounting because you account for things twice, in and out. I think that was invented as long ago as Mesopotamia. Like, I'm sure he told me that was actually a Mesopotamian thing. So we've been doing accounting since we've been doing farming, basically. Anything that is put down wrong here is, as far as I'm concerned, wrong for good. Yes, I like that. Yeah, it's true. It's true. Setting the record straight, or at least de facto incorrect. I like it. I like it. Cool. Okay. What else was I going to share with you guys? Oh, you want to see the JO1 prototype, right? Let me go grab that. I will be back in a second because I think Storesness wanted to see that. So Storesness, this is your 30-second warning. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, so this is the JO1 final edition prototype. If I can move stuff out of the way. Oh, we've still got the web page up. Let me remove that. This is the JO1 final edition prototype in the silver and patina colorway with GMK Midnight Rainbow. So the top is magnet mounted, and internally you can see that gorgeous, gorgeous blue patina. The plate and PCB gasket mounted assembly does just lift out. There's no daughter board in this, but you can see where the daughter board plugs in. So you just have one cable, and that's how the build lifts out and pops in. The gasket is integrated onto the plate, and then the top case goes on and is magnetized. And that will hold upside down without falling off. So yeah. Ancient Mesopotamia also has the earliest evidence of customer complaints showing just how things never change. Yeah, I've seen that. It's the report about copper not being of good quality, right? But yeah. I've also just a few days ago received quotes for GMK Midnight Rainbow from GMK. I think we're gonna do it purely at PT. And we're gonna have like a limited edition, like a limited entry raffle. Like we're gonna have a raffle form open for a period of time, a day or two, and then we're gonna put Midnight Rainbow Round 2 into production. I think that's how we're gonna do it. So there'll probably be an announcement on this towards the back end of this month, maybe the back end of next week, and then the idea will be to have like the raffle for Midnight Rainbow Round 2 open at the end of September or mid to late September. It is going to be GMK. I have been looking at other manufacturers, but I want to do it in GMK at least once more, and that's why we're going to do it like as a limited thing, where we'll have a certain number of units. We'll do it as a raffle. If we don't hit the MOQ, I'll buy the MOQ out, and then probably never sell them, and just make it a little bit something special for people that that want to get it. And what we will do as well is we'll have it at a slight price reduction for SPC members because of your support over the years and everything else. So SPC will be able to get priority. That's Twitch subs and Ko-fi subs. We'll get priority over slots, and they'll also get a slight price discount as well, like 5% or something like that. That's the current idea I've got. I don't want to do an open group buy for it. I don't want to do this massively across like multiple vendors. I want to keep it quite small, handle it myself, be in control of the project, and just get Midnight Rainbow out there once more. I don't think the market's as massive for the set as it used to be, so we're going to do a really limited, 150 MOQ, 150 slots are available, raffle form open for a set period of time, a weekend maybe. Invoices will go out. You have 2 days to pay. If you don't pay, tough. We won't re-roll the raffle spots. We won't do anything else like that. Won't ever be in stock. I think that's what we're going to do. It will have UK ISO in it, yeah. All my sets will always have UK ISO in it. Let Luke handle it. Luke can go fuck himself. Excuse me. You say you may never sell, but where's that Midnight Rainbow R1 in the aftermarket? I've seen 2 in 4 years. I don't know. Like the thing is, I don't want to do this to make a shitload of money and to do all of that kind of stuff. I just want the people who want stuff to get it nicely. And when you start to put in a dozen different vendors and exchange rates and international shipping and all of this kind of stuff, and they all then have a view on renders and they all have a view on kitting, and half of them will tell me to remove UK ISO, and that'll be a whole thing about discussing it and everything else. Like, you start to lose control, and that's not a bad thing in necessarily. Like, it works because you end up with a great Nita product for the vast majority of designers and vast majority of sets. So it works great for almost every set. I think for Midnight Rainbow Round 2, I don't want to let that control go again. Like, I don't want it to happen in that way again. I want to retain as much control as possible over the product as I can, because it's kind of like one of my favorite sets. I designed it because I enjoyed designing it and because I thought it was cool, and I kind of want to protect that a little bit. And people are free to agree or disagree with me, but yeah, that's kind of the idea. We might change it a little bit and say SPC are guaranteed a slot if they want one, but they will get a small discount on it as well, just as a thank you for being a Twitch sub or a Ko-fi subscriber for so long. So I appreciate it. Yeah. Now you really have my interest. Yeah, every set we do here at PT, so JOG, the Milky Way by PT, Black on White and White and Black, Midnight Rainbow, there's been a couple of other sets that I've had a hand in. They all have UK ISO in base. I also have news for you. If you're interested in GMK Windbreaker, group buy, October. No date yet, but October. So expect an interest check and some renders early September. Because DCS Windbreaker is coming back in GMK, and it's going to happen. I'm fighting for UK ISO to be in the base for that as well, because I can't buy it out. But yeah. So yeah, so that's 2 exclusives you just had. 2 exclusives you just had. GMK Midnight Rainbow and GMK Windbreaker confirmed. Confirmed. I don't have any renders yet to share for Windbreaker. Do I even have any kitting I can share? I don't. But yeah, Windbreaker is coming soon. I'm just trying to see if I've got them. Oh, I just need a ping from someone. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So I don't have anything else to share just yet, but yeah, you can confirm those as both confirmed. I'm trying to convince Puade to keep the UK ISO keys in, and the other vendors, because every other vendor, like, I'm technically lead vendor for the project, but as soon as I showed the kitting, the problem I was getting, it was like, why don't you take those keys out, man? Why don't you take those keys out? It's like, no, we've got to keep them in. We've got to keep them in. So yeah, Windbreaker, my beloved. Yeah, it's a great set. I was gonna say I have the keys to the side of me. I don't, because I've sent them to the render guru who's doing the renders. Yeah. A group buy for everyone to join would have been a Rainbow in the Dark. I mean, I am not calling Midnight Rainbow R2 a group buy. I'm calling it. It's not a group buy. It's a private run almost, because I don't want to like lose control, and I hope that makes sense. I hope it makes sense. Susie, hey, thanks for being here. I'm very well, thank you. I hope you're doing good. Do you think putting UK ISO in the base for a GMK set reduces the chance for a more extensive international kit being made? No. No, but it's an interesting point. So Dvorkul, I was talking to Demotex about this earlier on today. The Dvorkul released some numbers on Geekhack about international kit attachment rates based on base kit sales, and I think that it's a little bit, and it basically showed about 5% of orders typically of base kits would typically have an international kit, but that's across all orders. And I think that's a little bit misleading, because it's not technically across the whole group buy. It's what's that attachment rate across the EU and UK vendors, and that's what we should be looking at, not necessarily the attachment rate across all of the group buys. So it's a little bit misleading, and it also tends to paint a rosier picture than is actually the truth, because the amount that we have to buy out is usually significantly larger than the amount that sells. And I think that there's some intrigue in there, and there's no real way of getting the right answer. There's only a way of having a look at trends, and trends aren't the de facto truth. They're just an expression of demand in some ways, a variable expression of demand, I think is how I want to word that. What we see is when we have a UK ISO kit and a Norda kit that doesn't include UK keys, we tend to see that the UK ISO kit does better, and we sell more base kits here in the UK. I don't know if I have the data to see what that does for pickup across the EU. I suspect I don't have enough of that data collated in my data banks to be able to discern any kind of information from that. I don't think it hurts the chances of a Norda kit being produced or being available. I think that you will see less and less Norda kits as the overall base numbers for the average set continue to decline. I think the actual take-up rate for any Norda kit will be lower, and you will only end up with designers who want that kind of compatibility making it available. If you know a set's going to be a banger and it's going to sell 1,000 base kits, it's absolutely a no-brainer to make an international kit of some sort. I don't think that many sets are going to do that. So yeah, swings and roundabouts. Just put window breaker on my SC 10 minutes ago. Nice. Nice. Small batch pre-order maybe. Yeah, like for Midnight Rainbow, I think we could safely call that a small batch, and it's going to be a small batch, short window, and then no in stock at the end of it. I think, unless we get like cancellations between pre-order and delivery, which generally don't happen. Oh yeah, Demotex has linked that conversation here, so let me share this. So this is some information from Devorkol, and basically this is the overall group buy take-up rate of Norda International, Norda, and Norda UK kits across the group buy and the pre-orders, I think. So this is the group buy, and this is the including extras. And you can see over time that it's kind of been static when you look at it, like 2025 to 2022, big bump in 2023 because that was when the whole bump happened in the just after COVID, and everything else got delivered and shipped and stuff. It's interesting to look at this. I think this information is a little bit misleading though, because it's based as a percentage of overall group buy sales, and I think that it's a little bit. And the data set's not huge either, because you're talking about 30 sets overall, and like 20 sets there. It's not really informative enough to make a decision on. It's really difficult, and I think it would be better as a percentage of EU and UK sales. And what you would tend to see is almost 1-for-1 ordering of international kits and base kits, I think, or like an 80% ordering perspective with extras included to get them over the line. And Tangus, my gripe is the international is typically just a Norda UK though. Yeah, I think there's no clear terminology for what a Norda kit is, a Norda UK kit, or an international kit is, and they're all different and used interchangeably, and sometimes even a UK kit alone is called an international kit. It's difficult. KKB doing UK ISO on in-stock sets only. They are Unikeys are stocking from what I've seen. KKB, any set that we stock through KKB will always have a UK ISO kit for it. That's a deal I made with them 3 years ago. And same for Milky Way, we got them to agree as well. And also Signature Plastics now, to an extent. No one buys it for Signature Plastics though. An actual international kit would be bigger than a base kit. It absolutely would, and it would be unsellable. Yeah. Northern UK kits, frankly, only really work because Northern European consumers have the money to buy the caps they don't need. Maybe. I mean, the other thing is that if there is a vendor in, say, Germany or Spain or wherever, I'm thinking of a couple of vendors here, want to go to KKB and say, we're offering this set. I've seen that Jay offers this KKB set and has a UK ISO kit. Can we do an SFR kit, or we can do a DE kit just for ourselves? I'm sure that KKB and Milky Way would be open to that. I don't know why that. I don't know if that's happening and I'm just not aware, or if it's not happening at all. But I'm sure that's absolutely possible. And we've been working with Key Creative to do it as well, whereby if we order base kits, we have UK ISO base kits. We did this with Glitch, and we've done it with some other sets, where UK ISO keys will be included in the base kit, and the other vendors will get different base kits because they have different keys to include. And the price, that's why the prices will not be necessarily quite the same. So yeah, it's doable, but it's difficult. It's difficult. To this day, I can't fathom why Norway and Denmark didn't agree to keep the same layout or go together with the rest of Scandinavia. Probably because they're different countries and people have... There's an XKCD meme about having a new set of syntax or terminology that's oh, there's no standard for this. Let's create a new standard that combines everything. And they create a new standard, and instead of being 10 standards, there's now 11 standards. And it's like, you know, it's one of those things. UK ISO is fewer keys than what's needed for most of the languages. Yeah. Harder for other vendors to include keys for the languages. It's just a costing. Like, I give the UK keys away for free. I don't ever charge for them. I just give the UK keys away for free with KeyCobra and Milky Way sets. They could charge like an extra €5 or whatever, or €10. I'm sure it'd be fine. Yeah. What's the latest with the J1 FE? So after last year, we had to bail out 5 or 6 vendors for group buys they couldn't fulfill. For example, I literally just today got the final payment from another vendor for GMK Nerve. For GMK Nerve that shipped nearly a year ago. We got the final payment today. So there was like 5 or 6 vendors that we bailed out last year, and we also wrote off a lot of historic debts from other vendors last year as well. Basically, what's that meant is that's meant a lack of spare capital to invest in our own products and projects. Rescuing group buys is expensive and time consuming and costly and risky. And with all of that going on, we didn't have the capital available to fully fund in advance the JO1 group buy. I have the FE to the side of me here. And because we didn't have the money to fully fund it, I didn't want to run... I want to run it as a pre-order, you see, not a group buy. I didn't want to run it without having the capital and the cash to back it up. People can complain about that if they want, but in my head, that's the safe decision, and I'd rather play safe than dangerous with other people's investments. Although every business is a risk, ultimately. So where we're at today is we're starting to see the light at the end of the tunnel. I'm hopeful that at some point soon we'll be able to re-quote and get prices and start getting this into production. I think if we do offer it, I want to offer it through STR because I'm a real fan of their factory finishes and processes. I don't know if we'll offer it through other vendors or if we'll just do it ourselves here at PT, because again, I like to retain control of things. It needs me to sit down and actually re-quote, rehash, finalize some designs. There's a couple of little tweaks I want to make, and go through it once we're in a position where I think capital's okay, and that may be a little while off. Yeah, I'm hopeful before the end of the year. And I know I said this time last year, but I'm hopeful it'll be, you know, an October pre-order window maybe. We'll see. I'll try and dedicate like a whole week to it, early September, and then we can see if we can get it off the ground. Your Vesterboard should start slipping in a second. I won't hear it because I've got the headphones, the noise cancelling headphones. But yeah, as an early hobbyist, Nordic UK sets are wasted on me. I've been brainwashed into ANSI International years ago. We'll still pick up a Nordic kit if it's offered for a set I want to buy, though. That's fair. I think over time we will see that more and more people will move to ANSI because it is so hard to offer regional specific layouts. And even as a UK ISO user, if everyone was on the same layout, it would make making keycaps and compatibility significantly easier. One thing I would actually rather do is increase take up of custom keycaps for things like Dvorak and Kolvrak. I'd love to do that, and maybe even workman layouts. But like, we have Kolvrak kits from a couple of group buys on the shelf that have not sold in 5 years. So like, we get asked probably weekly for those, and then you make them and no one buys them. So yeah. I like my UK ISO. So do I, but I do have some ANSI boards. For example, I need to cut a plate for this board to make it ISO. Yeah, I like my boards are half and half. Like, I have half ISO, half ANSI. Like, if I have to use ANSI, fine, I can do it. But I always miss having the pipe and backslash key. If I can have UK ISO, I'll absolutely build it that way. But yeah, I wouldn't cut off my nose and not have a product I really liked just because it didn't support UK ISO though. So yeah. Dvorak, Kolvrak is mainly based on English though, so it doesn't make a whole lot of sense for other languages. It's true. That's true. It's true. Except almost everyone types in English and writes code in English. Yeah. Know where the keys are despite the legends. Manu, hey man, good to see you. I hope you're doing well. Manu, let's set up a meeting to talk about JO1 and JO3 next week, because like, I want to sit down and talk about those. And also I need to find out where my night stabilizers are, because I've run out of personal stabilizers. So I need to make sure we've got the order coming in so I can steal some from the shipment. Thank you, Boo. Thank you. Yeah, just suggest some times and I'll accept. I'm not in on Monday, so yeah. It's a bank holiday here in the UK on Monday. I like to see it this way: the English type and speak Danish thanks to King Canute. Maybe. Hype for Nervewrecker. Nervewrecker looks really cool. Yeah. ISO is always a choice when available, and we'll have to ask for an ISO Cloudline plate at some point in the future. I have the file. I just need to convert the file to ISO, and I haven't had the time to do it yet. Justin sent me the file on Wednesday night, I think. I haven't had like it'll take about half an hour to change, and I haven't had a chance to do it. But yeah, we will make that available, and then if you want to order one, actually, if you order a custom plate file and then tell me in the email it's for the Cloudline ISO plate, it'll force me to actually do the work. So you could do that, Jehovah. You could order one, and then I'll have to make it. So yeah, so we have the plate file. Service. Hold on, let me show you. So, I was showing it already. So, yeah, so you can, the in-stock pump plate cutting service, if you order a TKL in whatever you want, and then just put in the comments that it's for the Cloudline ISO plate, it will force me to make the changes to the file and make it available and cut it. So, yeah. I don't know, Moons, if it is the same as the V1. I haven't asked Justin, but I will reach out to him, I think. I know that someone else made Jelly a file that's UK ISO, but I don't trust other people's plate edits very often. Like, if I'm cutting them, I'd rather make the edit to the file myself, and then I know it's done right. Like, I did the Keycult 1800 one a little while back, and a couple of people have ordered those. Yeah, I at least I'm confident then that I know the plate file is correct. I've had other people make the plate file in the past, and then I've cut it, and then I've tried it and it's not worked, and then I've had to go and make the plate file myself anyway. And like the customer we had the other day, like when we charged like 25 quid for a TKL plate, almost all of that is cost of actually producing the plate. So of that £25, £4.17 of that is VAT. So it's only £20.83 that we actually get in revenue as a company. The material for a plate file is about 58 quid a sheet, and we get 6 plate files out of it. So what does that work out at? £58 divided by 6. I can't do math. So we're talking £9.60 is just the cost of the material, and it costs to cut a TKL plate about 5 quid on the laser. So realistically, we're talking we make about £5 a plate, maybe £6 a plate. If you then chuck in the fact that there's time to set it up and to cut the plate, you know, time has a cost to it and a staffing cost to it, and then there's insurances and the cost of the machine and maintenance and everything else. Realistically, we're doing them at cost, broadly speaking. So then when someone sends me a plate file and then I have to spend 4 hours changing that plate file to make it correct, like we're making a huge loss on that order. So it's really difficult. It's really difficult. You're between using the Cloudline and the Loki? No worries. Jelly sent me the V1. Jelly had laser boost. Cut the plates, pretty sure it works. Yeah, okay. I just don't always trust it, and I don't want to create a plate and spend, 20 quid of my own money making a plate, and then the customer say, oh, it doesn't fit. You need to make me another one. And it's like, yeah, okay. It's frustrating. Possibly to save you 4 hours. Yeah, but I'll still check it anyway because I'm always really nervous on that. What people tend to forget when they do the change for the ISO plate file is that the UK the enter shifts position, and so do the stabilizers. So they shift from the ANSI position rotate into the northern position, north-south position for ISO, and depending on whether that's the wires facing to the east or the west, determines how you do the cutouts on the plate. A lot of people miss that, and then they put the cutout for the switch, and they leave cutout for the ANSI switch positions, but they don't do a cutout for the stabilizer position in the ISO socket. You see it on left shift as well quite a lot. It's yeah. Having worked with CAM for years, you hate DXF and DWG files. The plate file we modified for a customer the other day, I found out what they did wrong. They took a screenshot of the plate and then put that screenshot into a JPEG to DXF converter. That was how they tried to create a plate file for their keyboard. A JPEG screenshot into a converter to create a DXF file. So it tried to trace it and it didn't do a great job. We also have to talk about Pompeii, B4VB, Iconographic, and Jupiter. Yeah, I saw I saw Mario's post. I have not read it yet because it was War and Peace. It was like too long, so I haven't read it yet. Let's set up a session, Mario, for me, you, and Sharon next week to sit down and go through it all. Bring Slim as well. We'll talk about every single thing. We'll both have an agenda. We'll spend like an hour and we'll go through everything. All right? How does that sound? Good. Does that sound good? Yeah, let me know. Let me know. Let me know. When you work with sheet metal, that's just how the fancy part to drawing scanners work. Yeah, it is to an extent, but like we make. I want plates to be quick and easy to cut, right? Like I want someone to send me a DXF file. I put it into my laser software. I send that to the laser. I go to the laser. I put the material in. I line it all up. I press start. It cuts the plate. It bleeps at me. I go collect the plate. I rinse it off. I wrap it up. I post it to the customer. That's how the process should be based on where we've priced it. Like if we were pricing it for all of that other work involved, it should be double the price easily. I hope they aren't as lossy as a JPEG. Yeah, I only realized that this is how the customer did it because his file, when I read the name of the file, was actually like screenshot _01 blah blah blah. I was like, oh, okay, so you converted a screenshot into a DXF file. Custom work gets time consuming really quickly, and what you tend to find 3D keycap is that people don't like to pay for people's time. They don't like to pay for people's time. They don't see time as having value or intrinsic value, unless it's their time, in which case they do see it. But when you say to someone, okay, if you want to order this file, it's going to take me 4 hours to make it, but I'm still only going to charge you £25. They go, oh, great, fantastic. What they're not thinking about is, well, how much, that 4 hours of your time, what's that actually worth? And I mean, I would imagine if you went to the vast majority of the community and said, what's Jay's time? What's 4 hours Jay's time worth? They would all say, nothing. He's a vendor. He should be doing it for free. I've had people tell me that so many times that I think that it's probably 90% of the population in the community think that time isn't worth anything, or the vendor's time isn't worth anything. They must be making a profit on the products they sell. Therefore, their time can't be worth anything. And that's a really difficult kind of message to manage sometimes. And it's really difficult kind of situation to be in, because it's not just my time. It's also Sharon's time and Mel's time and my accountant's time. And it's then, how does that look when we come to it? Like running a company for no income is really hard. Like it's... what's the word I'm looking for here? It's not demoralizing, but it's really, really hard to run a company and spend, 60 to 70 hours a week minimum on a quiet week here at the workshop to not take an income. Like it's so hard to keep going sometimes. It really is. It gets even worse when you add bend reliefs, deductions, formings, and engravings. Yeah, and people want like chamfers and yeah, and then every CAD suite exports things differently. Yeah. People are delusional. Yeah. Mates rates should be more, not less money if you value your friends. Why people expect vendors to work for free? How do they expect the lights to stay on? Infuriating is a good way, yeah. I think that the general consensus is that the people who have an opinion on it tend to come from one of two camps. Either, like a lot of you guys, have been in the hobby for, 10 years. And they think, well, these vendors all started as enthusiasts first. They built business around being enthusiasts. Therefore, they should do it for the love of the hobby. That's one view that seems to be really, really popular. The other view is people are new to the hobby or newish to the hobby. They don't really understand how it works. They don't understand the ins and outs. They don't watch streams particularly. They don't speak to vendors. They just see a product for sale and buy it, and they think it's like any other shop. Therefore, the company must be making a profit on that particular product. They're not selling it at a cost or a loss. They're making a profit. Even when it's on sale, they must be making a profit, right? And most people assume that a company makes 50, 60, 70% profit on anything they sell. In keyboard land, it's between 8 and 12% per item, depending on what the item is. And for some things like switches, it's even less. It's like a penny or 2 pence a switch. So when people see that, when people are in those two camps, they kind of think, well, people's time isn't relevant because you're either making money already, so I don't care about your time, or it's, well, you've been here so long, Jay, that you should be doing this for the love of the hobby and for the love of the community, not for financial gain. And then there's kind of like maybe 10% of people that sit somewhere in the middle who say, do you know what? I understand this. I appreciate why it costs this. Yes, I'm aware, and I think people should be paid fairly. And it's really difficult because people don't see it as anything other than an industry, or they see it as just a hobbyist community thing. And it's difficult to manage that sometimes. These people must still live with parents or have no overheads to be so out of touch with reality. I think it's just because they don't think about it. Because like if you find like a product on a website, like a random website, like the other day I bought some trim clips for a car. Like I don't know who manufactured them. I know the website I bought them from, but I don't know who manufactured them. I don't know if they make them in house. I don't know if they make 1 million at a time or 10 at a time. I don't understand their economies of scale. I don't know what they're paying for them. I assume they're making a profit, but I don't think about it. So if someone asks me what that person's time's worth, I have no idea. It's a really difficult thing. Yeah, people don't have a holistic view of things. People just, they see, oh, I'm buying this product from this faceless store and it should be here really quickly. And if it's not, I'm going to complain. So it's not like I'm blaming people for having this. And it's not that people are necessarily always delusional, or they just don't know and they don't understand. And if you said, okay, we're charging £25 for this, but it actually took me 25 hours to make it, and I'm basically after cost making 10p an hour, they might start to understand it a bit more. That's a really good point, 3D keycap. So 3D keycaps says there are comparable cheap options when talking about keyboards, so they don't realize how hard non-mass-produced parts can be. Yeah. So one of the negative impacts the race to the bottom has had on keyboards is that people have a skewed perspective of what a product now costs. It is really hard to justify the JL1 FE is going to be €400 a board, which is not an unreasonable price when you know the work that's gone into it and the small amount of units produced. It's going to be €400 per board, when a QK or Neo product is €100 per board. It is so hard to justify why it's more expensive, and the fact that we're making less and it's more exclusive is only a part of the argument. Economies of scale are on every single part, not on the whole product as an entity. So you have economies of scale that you aren't getting on the PCB, on the plate, on the gaskets, on the case, on, the shipping, on the carry cases, on the assembly and the screws and the magnets and all of the production parts. You're just not getting any economies of scale. So every single price point is significantly larger than it would be. And ultimately, you're probably only making the same amount of revenue profit per board sold as what you would be if it was a QK or Neo product, for example. And that's not to detract from QK or Neo. They're great products, priced really well. But the race to the bottom of the market has made smaller run niche products seem like a bad investment or a bad purchase because the price seems so astronomically higher. And what I think we need to do is try and phase shift how people look at that, from seeing keyboards as just keyboards to seeing these smaller run projects where there's only 100, 150 boards as something like an Amiga or a Rolex compared to a Swatch. It's that premium brand. You're buying something that is at the upper market end, and that's what you're aiming for. Ultimately, that reduces your pool of active participants, but it then tends to suggest a better understanding of why the price might be the price. You're paying for exclusivity, rarity, to support a designer, to support a brand. You're paying for that upper echelon of products, and that's something that I haven't seen anyone really do well yet in the hobby. I think 5 years ago, Keycult tried to do that, and then they kind of failed, and it kind of, well, they didn't fail, but they kind of like took so long to produce stuff that the kind of view went against them a little bit. And no one else has really tried to be that more premium product space. I think Lulstack is doing pretty good with the with his range of like K's products. I think that's starting to push that boundary a little bit. I think the guy behind the Icebreaker did it a little bit as well, and of course Guy's Machine have been doing it a little bit too. I think they're starting to push that kind of ultra premium brand. And they're kind of getting there, but not doing it really well just yet. I think the market's just not mature enough for it yet. And that's something that hopefully will happen at some point in the future, where people will see that these are like the watch micro brands that you can get. Sure, you can buy a Swatch for 25 quid, but you can also go to Brew and buy a coffee themed watch for £500. And it's not quite as much as like an Omega or a Rolex, but it's kind of up there in terms of pricing. So hopefully we'll see that transition to the market, and we'll have some market separation, and there'll be a more clearly delineated difference between here is the budget options, which can be really, really good, but you're paying for mass production. Here are the kind of premium options that are kind of that, middle of the road watch brand that's semi-premium. And then here are the upper echelon of brands. And I think we need that to happen in keyboards at some point sooner rather than later. And I don't think we're a million miles away from it happening. I think someone's going to cross that boundary at some point soon. I don't think it's quite happened yet. I hope that makes sense. Let me know if you disagree, because I'd love to have this conversation and disagree with people. The idea that you started maybe as an enthusiast means you shouldn't be allowed to profit is bizarre. That's prevalent in a lot of hobbies though, Moons. Like, in other industries, it's not acceptable. In industry, it's not. But in other hobbies, it happens. Like, there was years and years ago, I was in like a hobby where people were making custom inks and for fountain pens. This is probably 2001, 2002. And it was kind of like that at the time when Etsy had just become like a thing, maybe eBay or something. And on this forum, someone was like, I'm going to try and sell these inks that I've made at home. They were selling them relatively cheap, like, I don't know, like 100 mils for 10 quid, 12 quid or something like that. And they were like, I remember having the conversation with them, or seeing the conversation, and at the time they did really, really well. They were selling by the gallon load. They were selling loads of this, like not a small amount. They were selling 100 vials a week or something like that. So not huge numbers, but enough. And someone was like, oh, can you provide a breakdown of how this is costing you? And I remember the conversation being very much a case of, okay, so the raw cost per vial per 100 milliliters is something like, I don't know, like $4 or whatever it was. And they were like charging $11 for it. And like, why are you taking so much profit off this? Why are you making so much money per one? And they're like, well, it takes time to make that. For like each vial, I'm probably putting in, 25 to 50 minutes worth of work. Therefore, if we take an average of that, it's probably 45 minutes per vial of work, and therefore I want to recoup some of my hourly rate, whatever the conversation was. And I remember the kind of like the discussion went into two camps, and it was kind of the first camp were people, oh yeah, understand, you're putting time in, you're putting effort in, we really like the product, we want to support it. And the other side were like, well, no, just sell it cheaper, because why should you earn money? You aren't a business, you're making this. So there's this. I think this happens in a lot of hobbies where people start to come up with an idea and make something, and people think, "Oh, well, you're a hobbyist. You should be doing it for us, not to sell as a product. You should be doing this for us because you are serving the community." And I think there's a very clear mindset in people about that. There was like one of the other things I'm into is custom axes, like for chopping wood, and there was someone who was blacksmithing like these really broad axe heads. And when he sold the first couple of these that he made, he was selling basically at cost. He was selling for like, I don't know, like $100, whatever. And then enough people buying it is like, right, I'm going to turn this into a business. I'm going to make them mass produced. They're going to have this, that, and the other. They're going to come in premium packaging. They're going to be insured. They're going to be guaranteed for 10 years, blah, blah, blah. All of this kind of stuff. You know, he was building the whole product around them. And they could come with different handles, and they could come in different paint jobs and all of this. And all of a sudden the price went up to like, I don't know, like $400 or something like that. And people were kicking off at the price again, and they were like, why were you selling these for $100 before? And he's like, well, I'm a business now. I've got to have insurances and staff and premises and all of this kind of stuff that I didn't have before. And of course, now we're a business. We need to make a profit to keep going so that we can produce more products. And ultimately, they've been quite successful, actually. But yeah, there was still pushback on it. Still pushback. The Morgan TKL is over 1K because it's 50 units. Yeah, well, I mean, it's a nice keyboard though. It's a nice keyboard though. Everyone failed because they didn't do cone feats. Yeah. Right now, which ones would you consider to be a premium brand? I think I talked about that a few. Time and risk. People don't put money to risk. People don't assume that risk carries a cost, and it absolutely does. If you ever work in any project or run any product for sale, factor in your risk costs, because if you don't, you may find that you struggle, or you may find that you don't have the opportunity to fix it. And even if you do, you can still fail, but at least you tried to do the right thing. Time is money. Absolutely. Time and risk. Yeah, wealthy people will spend money to get time back. The way that chasing paper or chasing money goes is that you will invest a lot of your time trying to make money. If you ever get to the point where you've made money, you will spend that money to get your time back. You know, this is why wealthy people have chefs and cooks and cleaners and all of that kind of stuff. When someone is 17, time is free and there's no risk to anything. Maybe age plays a factor in this. Maybe. I feel like people are too attached to the sense of everything being at the reach of their hand, even when they know how it looked like back when the hobby was all small group buys and what the possible risks would be taken. Sketchy menus, yeah. The hobby has certainly matured, but the marketplace hasn't, I would say. The production behind the scenes stuff has absolutely matured in terms of that we now have vendors. Like if you go back to when I was on TopClack, there was like maybe 10 vendors worldwide at the start of that, right? There was no real physical presences, and when there was a company and it was set up properly, it was running from someone's basement or yard or garage. And a lot of vendors are still doing that, to be fair. But now, you know, companies like Novel Keys have premises and retail shops, and we have the workshop here. And although we might be going the other way and moving away from a workshop environment because it's just too expensive these days. But and I'll have the workshop in my house maybe, and we'll move the business to my house. But you know, there are businesses have changed, and it has grown up behind the scenes quite a lot. And ultimately, that has seen a lot of high-profile business failures. But that's not anything really untoward. If you look at most industries will have businesses that fail every week, every month, every year, depending on the size of them. And you know, you can look at playing card trading game shops. They will have companies that rise and fall, and you know, close down and don't, or stores that sell, you know, other collectibles or remote control cars or whatever it might be, hobbycraft stores. You know, they all go up and down in terms of, you know, whether they're profitable or not. And if businesses can't keep the turnover and revenue going, they will fail. And that's just a fact of life. So whilst they become more prevalent in terms of visibility, they're probably not any more common, because people like Ivan were ripping people off, you know, 10 years ago. So it's probably better now than it ever has been, but there is a perceived greater risk because it looks like companies are failing, which feels bigger than just someone in their bedroom not able to ship a product. I remember having to order springs from the US. I've ordered springs from the US before. My old boss would always say he spends money for time with the family. Exactly. Yeah, yeah. Like you spend time to chase money, and then when you get money, you spend money to have time. Like it's the way of the world. Or funds being locked because too much money got sent in at once. Yeah, PayPal sucks, man. Are you going to post those same TikTok videos to your YouTube channel in shorts form? I'd love to see the daily roll for caffeine without having to download and use TikTok. I don't have a YouTube presence for Jay's Roastery, actually. That's a good point, Keeper. So they are posted on Jay's Roastery Instagram, and they are posted currently on Jay's Roastery's TikTok. I don't typically post anything on YouTube, but if it kicks off and it goes well, Keeper, I will post it on there, yeah. PT Shorts or Insta Reels? Yeah. I won't post the roll for caffeine on PT much because I think it needs to be its own thing. But yeah, reels on shorts on YouTube are an option. I'll have a think about it. Like, I've only done one episode and I have no idea how many views it got. In fact, I could probably have a quick look. I suspect it's got like 100 maybe if I'm lucky. Oh, it's got more than I thought. It's got 386. But yeah, we'll see how it goes. Yeah, 386. No comments. No comments, sadly. No one has commented on it. But yeah, 386. That's all right. That's all right. If you get the shorts right, people keep watching. Yeah, well, I plan to try and push it on TikTok a little bit, because then we can open up like the TikTok shop for the coffee and stuff like that. That's kind of like the broad plan. Get to like episode 10, open up TikTok shop for the coffee and try and push the coffee a little bit. That's what I want to try and do. And of course, we'll have it on the Instagram as well because it makes sense to put it on the Jay's Roastery Instagram already because we've got a small following on there. And then I can link it to the PT one every now and again for a little extra push. YouTube Shorts are a good one. I never watch YouTube Shorts, so I don't know how popular they are, but absolutely we could probably put it on there as well. Like Pirate Fartware, he blew up to Shorts. Maybe, okay. Thanks for the follow on, dude. I appreciate it. I'll have a think about YouTube Shorts and see if I can do something around that. I'm sure I can. Yeah. Another algorithm to contend with. Yeah, like it's like, how do you push it in the right way? If anyone is an expert in social media management and would like a free keyboard and will give me some lessons on how to do this, I'd be interested in that conversation. But yeah, I'm learning as I go. So like I've been posting Instagram stories for years, but like we don't really. They're just daily updates. They're not actual content, so we never post them as reels. Maybe we should be. I don't know. I guess it's just something I need to learn. YouTube Shorts are great, or rather not in context. They're just good. Actually, if you consider format, then they're just half decent. Please post to YouTube, then I might actually have a chance of seeing them. Step 1, leech off someone much bigger. As in copy them? Maybe. I'm not the type of person that likes to copy people though, sorry. But like I would like to like playing the roll for caffeine stuff on TikTok and Instagram for Jay's Roastery is really fun. Like genuinely really enjoyed doing it. And I had a great time coming up with the cards, and the cards are gonna morph over time as we get more syrups and flavors and stuff in, and as we find out what works and doesn't, it'll change. We'll see. Contact Hubert for details. No lowballers, we know what we got. Cool. Okay, I'll have a chat with Hubert and see what we can do. There's probably some sort of like app that'll do it. Oh, being someone's sidekick? Yeah, I don't think anyone would want me as a sidekick. But we'll see. Maybe I'm wrong. Right, okay. I did build this as a keyboard and chill. I don't think we've actually done much keyboard content. But yeah, I think it's time for me to finish up for the stream today, because we've been streaming a couple of hours now, and it's 5:10, and my wife will be complaining why I haven't gone home for dinner. So, collab with James Hoffman. I don't think James Hoffman wants to work with Roll for Caffeine. Like we've done one episode. Maybe if we get like 10,000 views on like episode 10 or something, maybe I can ask him. But I don't know. Why is there a keyboard on your desk? Oh, what do you mean? There's a keyboard on your desk? Okay, gotcha. Yeah. Thanks. Plenty of chill. That's content. Cool. Maybe the real keyboards were the content we watched along the way. Maybe. Maybe. Okay, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'm gonna head off home now and have some. How about keyboard meetup at those roaster? Dude, Soren, like if you come to like one of the things we do. Hold on, look, we do this every week. You can come along to PT. We do keyboards and coffee every week. Right, we don't roast the coffee here. We roast the coffee at another coffee roastery around the corner from here. It's about 3 miles away, and we're down there. Mel was there today sorting some stuff out, and I'll be there next week as well. But we literally do keyboards and coffee here. You can come by. We have like a calendar. You can come by. You can have some of our coffee. You can play Roll for Caffeine if you want. And if you go on to Jay's Roastery website, like these pictures, that one was taken at the roastery. And the guy who runs the roastery took that picture for me and some others. But these photos here, these were all taken here at our workshop here at PT, because this is a PT workshop. This is literally the other side of this wall. And yeah, because I spend most of my time here, although we have 2 companies, I don't need to be at the coffee roastery. Because like everything is automated there. I go down when I want to spend time cupping or trying new recipes out and things like that. So yeah. Feel free to swing by, Soren. Feel free to swing by. Right. Thank you so much for watching, guys. I'm gonna hit the close stream button now, and I'm gonna go home. I'm gonna spend some time with my wife because we're house hunting again tomorrow, so a lot of driving. I'm hoping she's gonna let me order pizza because I really fancy pizza for dinner. It's probably gonna be a no. She's gonna want to eat healthily, but I really fancy pizza. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. I'll see you again soon. Maybe we'll play some games on stream next week and have a little chill out or something like that. I don't know. I'll see you guys soon. Take care.